The NBA playoffs start the second week of April, with the NHL playoffs scheduled to begin immediately after. Whether you're looking to raise the Stanley Cup or lift the Larry O'Brien Trophy, we've got the deal for you. Postseason subscriptions are already a great deal at $219, but with this early bird special, we're slashing it even more to just $177 each, and you get the rest of the regular season for free. Between now and Sunday, April 9th, partner with your favorite NBA or NHL handicapper and get their NHL or NBA best bets all the way through the finals. No coupon is needed. Head to the homepage of your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo expert and finish the NBA and NHL postseason with a bang.
Hey guys, welcome into Wager Talk TV. It is Wednesday, April 5th, and we are here to break down 3 NHL games for you. We have best bets at the end of the show, promotional information, and much, much more. But the main thing to mention, it is the return of the Prez. You guys have been commenting. You've been chatting about it in the chat box. He is here. The Prez is back here in his usual spot. We're happy to have him. Let's waste no time. Carmine, over to you. Then we'll bring in Prez. It's been a long-awaited return for this guy.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute. I got to do my little old man yelling at the clouds rant and stuff, because we always want to be transparent on the show and stuff. And like last night, I'm watching the games, a bunch of games, and of course I had to play on San Jose, but on the Avalanche. But when I came home, I'm like, everything I saw. I got to look at the numbers, and I thought, I'm not going to sleep if I look at the analytical numbers. And there's the old man look at the clouds. I look at the numbers, and they match with what I saw, because it's just going to piss me off, right? So, in the course of a year or NHL season, you're going to have losing nights, but you're going to have nights that frustrate you because they're supposed to be winning nights. So I look at the numbers this morning. And I look in the Leafs game, I released a bunch of small little plays, 1% and 2%, 4 plays. They go like 1 and 3. And I expected the Leafs with Jet Greaves named as the starting goalie for Columbus, and his first start in the NHL, playing at the Scotiabank against the Leafs, who are coming off a bad loss to Detroit. I just thought the Leafs are going to pepper this guy with shots on goal, and it's going to be a lopsided scoreline. Well, the Leafs get 50 shots on goal. They missed a lot of open chances in front of the net. High danger chances, 72.97. Their XG numbers were 6.57 to 2.48 for the Leafs. The team total of 4.5 should have hit. The over 6.5 probably should have hit. They landed on 4-2. So it's frustrating. I would play that game over again. So I don't feel bad about that. Vegas and Nashville, they outshoot them. They XG number them 4 to 2.5. But a puck off the skate in overtime, off a defenseman's skate, gives Nashville the win. So Nashville gets a little lucky. I don't feel bad. I'd play that one over again as well, too. And then the final one is obviously Colorado. 2 defensive miscues in the third period send the game to overtime. So my regulation bet on them is a loser. And it's 3 plays I would play again, or 3 games I would play again. So I hate that they lost, and I apologize for the losing plays, but I would play them all over again. And then you look at the show best bet yesterday, the Seattle and Vancouver over, the XG numbers were well below 6.5. And that play hits because of puck luck and an empty net goal with about 20 seconds left from the other end of the ice by Matty, Berniers or whatever. Anyways, Berniers. So who I have to win the Rookie of the Year. So it's one that shouldn't have won that won. It's just a frustrating night, because when you have a losing night on a night that you should have won based on the numbers, you know that the losing night based on plays that you should lose is going to come, and it kind of sucks. But with that said, we got to get into today's show. And finally, I'm not sure if, Andrew, you're a young guy, so you weren't around in 1984 to 95 when this show was on TV, but there was a show called The Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I watched it in my younger years with Robin Leach and Sherry Belafonte. This guy has been away for 30 days skiing in Whistler. Like, this guy is living the life of the rich and famous. So let's just bring him on, because he is rich. I'm not really sure about the famous part, but he'll let you know about that one. Prez, welcome back.
What's up, Prez?
Robin Leach. That guy had quite the accent.
Champagne champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
Caviar dreams, yeah. I think it was after the Love Boat on a Friday night, if I recall. Anyway, I'm not rich, but I am famous. Carm, I had the best trip of my life. I mean, it was 28 days of skiing. As you can see, I've got the goggle tans going. Hey, it's called raccoon face. And the crazy thing is, I tried to get it. Like, I literally did not put sunblock on because I wanted to come back to Toronto with the badge of skiing honor. It was unbelievable. I rented a 3-bedroom chalet. I had 1 million people coming in and out. It cost me a bloody fortune. It was worth every penny. And I'm currently in negotiations to do it again next year. But the craziest thing about it, if you want to talk about my lifestyle, is I'm back for 2 weeks. Then I'm likely going to go to Vegas to play in one of the, I think it's either the Venetian or the Wynn, somewhere around April 21st. I haven't figured it out yet. Then I get back. Then I'm going on tour with the Grateful Dead for 9 days with Viv. Then I get back. Then I'm off to Vegas to play in the seniors event at the WSOP. So yeah, but with all that said, you know, I made all my money myself. Like I'm 53, I'm 54 years old, May 22nd. Man, not 12 years ago, 15 years ago, I was stone cold broke. I was $380,000 into my line of credit just to live. So, you know, this stuff is hard work and a lot of luck. Like you were talking about with your hockey picks. I mean, luck plays a factor at a very high level. And that's why at the poker table, when I get one outed, oh, well, I'm lucky in life. And that's how I feel. It's been incredible. Thanks for having me on the show today, guys. I'm told by RJ Arsenault that I have to be on my best behavior today for some reason or other.
Prez, it's good to see you, man. And just so you know, every week, man, you were getting comments. Guys in the live chat. It's kind of like people want what they can't have, I think. You know, that's how people are in life in general. You're not here. They're asking for you. You're here. They're calling for you. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what people's story is, man, but it's good to see Andrew, you. It sounds like you had a blast, Prez, and I love that. It sounds like you're just truly, truly thankful and grateful right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I've had my dark times in life, but, you know, all of this stuff is so relative, right? Like, you know, here I am, you know, in a 3-bedroom chalet in Whistler. My brother comes down and he rents 3 suites at the Four Seasons for 4 days. He paid more money in those 4 days than I paid in my entire 28 days. You know, my brother calls me up. He's like, let's go heli skiing. How much is it, Ant? $2,000 for the day. I'm like, you're paying. Okay, he pays. But then it got canceled. It's all relative. You know, you look at me as a rich guy living this wonderful life. I look at my brother as this rich guy living this wonderful life. So it's ultimately all relative. But the most important thing, period, is laughing.
Very well said. Very well said. Today's games, guys, Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Rangers, Flames, Winnipeg Jets, which is a big one, and the Oilers taking on the Anaheim Ducks, which is not as much of a big one. Let's get into our first game here. Tampa Bay and New York. The Rangers here at Madison Square Garden. Rangers at home, -120 favorites. Tampa Bay +100. Total at 6. Shaded towards the under in this one. Carm, I talked about the numbers from Vasilevsky. He has a goals against average under 1 in his last 3 games. He's been performing at a high level after this Tampa Bay team was slumping for an extended period of time. Now you look at the standings in the Eastern Conference. Where does everybody fit? Where does everybody land? And that's kind of where you try and figure out what games mean something to certain teams.
Yeah.
Well, we know that this game means nothing to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's one thing we do know. But we also know they want to, you know, lead into the playoffs on a good note. That's for sure. But the Rangers right now, to me, I think will be the more motivated team entering this contest. I'm going to just go with the under, guys. I feel like these teams actually are going to be the opposite of what people are expecting near the end of a season from teams. They're going to be playing really good defensive hockey, shaping up for playoff hockey. They have two great goaltenders. My strategy is very simple with totals right now. Teams that are playoff bound and teams that are still playing for something, I'm looking for lower scoring games. Teams that have nothing to play for at all, I'm betting overs. Guys, we saw it yesterday in the Florida Panthers game. Total was 7, Carm, and it finished 2-1. That's what's happening right now with some of these big games.
Andrew, first of all, it's funny that you mentioned that Sabres one, because I talked at the beginning of the show about XG numbers, and unlucky if you took the over in that game that finished 2-1. The final numbers, the XG numbers in that game were 5.27 to 4.31 for the Sabres. Essentially, 9.5 goals in that game, in a game that finished 2-1. But couple goalies that played extremely well in that game. But you get to this game here, and I like your point. So the one thing you have to look at, and you're going to have to see this throughout the today, is make sure who the goalies are in this game. Because my lean on the under is predicated on the starters being Vasilevsky and Shesterkin in goal. These teams have played twice this year, 3-1 to start the season, and then another 2-1 game. Both teams, this is the first of a back-to-back. Tampa is in New York to play. They're playing the Islanders tomorrow, and it could be Brian Elliott tomorrow, which is great for the Islanders, who are vying for a playoff spot. And the Rangers are in St. Louis are playing St. Louis, and that could likely be Halak. But one of those could get flipped to tonight. Both of them could start tonight. Neither one of these teams, I think, has any thoughts of finishing second in their division and getting the number 2 seed. I think they're both kind of locked into that 3 seed. So I'm not really sure of the importance of every single player starting. You could see some players. John Cooper has been known to rest players, manage their minutes. So who knows? I'm pretty sure, as you said, neither team wants to get into bad habits. They want to finish the season strong. So I could see another tight checking, low scoring game in this one. The total's at 6. And if it's Vasilevsky and Shesterkin, that's where I'm going. I'm going to take the under in this game. If either one of those goalies gets swapped out, I'm just going to stay completely off the game itself. I don't want to take a side. A little bit of money is coming on Tampa Bay since the opening number minus 130 to drive it to 120 for the Rangers. But the under is the play for me, provided that the starting goalies are the number ones, Vasilevsky and Shesterkin. Prez, give me your thoughts here.
Oh, my brother, I'm so busy in the chat room. Glenn is hating on me. Rich is loving on me. Some other people are loving on me. Other people are hating on me. I love this stuff, man. This is just good to be back. It's just good to be back. Let me preface this Ranger Lightning game with the following. There are very few games left that are meaningful right now. Tampa Bay ultimately is locked into their seed. They're going to be on the road in game 1 right here in the wonderful and incredibly boring city of Toronto. And the New York Rangers are in the same boat. They're not going anywhere. Nobody's blocking shots anymore here. And taking away the lane from shooters is so crucial to these unders. Do I like the under in this game? Hell yeah. You know, New York Rangers are going to ultimately be an under team in the playoffs. This is a team that's going to win 2-1, 3-2 games in the playoffs. Tampa Bay gone under the total 4 times in a row, 5 of their last 6. They shut out New York Islanders. They let Washington score 1. They shut out Carolina. 1 goal in the last 3 games. With all that said, and I'm going to be saying the same thing in the Winnipeg Calgary game, which I can't wait to talk about because I have a lot to say. I just can't bring myself to betting this game right now. I like the New York Rangers. The under is the right play, the wrong spot. I like the Rangers tonight, guys. I think you've got Tampa Bay. They've won 3 games in a row. The Rangers have won only 1 game in a row. They just beat Washington, but they lost 2 before that. I think the Rangers are going to want to put a few W's together to feel good about themselves going into the playoffs, I think Tampa Bay is shutting it down. Like, we've seen this Tampa Bay story year in and year out. Start the season slow. Everyone sort of gets rested and ready to go, get their seat in the playoffs, kind of shut it down a bit, and then go to the playoffs and beat the Leafs. So with that said, I think the Rangers is the play here. Minus 133. I think you're getting a pretty good price. I think the under is the right play, but the wrong spot. It's going to be very tough betting for the next week. I have a lean on the New York Rangers tonight.
And I think that home teams are an angle as well. Like you said, I mean, it is tough, Prez, finding angles and finding spots. But I think, you like the Rangers. And I think, like I said, I'd lean that way too, especially because they are at home. But I remember you saying that last year about the block shots. And it's a really good point you're making because, these guys are hockey players. I'm sure they're not going to be like aware out there of like purposely not blocking one, but the intensity level is not going to be there as it's going to be in 2 weeks. So it's a good point. And, Carm, you talk about the starting goaltenders. I wish we could find somebody that would let me like talk some reasoning. Why can't we list goaltenders, guys, like we list pitchers in the MLB? You guys have been doing this way longer than me. Why can't we do that? Like, I'm going to list Vasilevsky. It's a no play if he doesn't start. I don't want Brian Elliott. I'm listing Vasilevsky. That'd be cool,
And I get it. And listen, I'm refreshing the 3 different sites that list goalies, everything from RotoWire to Left Wing Lock to Goalie Post to see, and then checking the beat reporters to see who's in the starter circle on the ice at the morning skate this morning. But there's nothing as of yet. And then halfway through the show, after I talk about the under in the Tampa Rangers game, I all of a sudden see that it's Brian Elliott versus Halak, and I'm like, I'm not taking that under. So
exactly.
It is frustrating, which is why I'm prefacing what I'm saying. I would take the under if it's the number ones in goal tonight. But other than that, I agree with Prez. Betting the next week of the NHL in games that are meaningless, unlike the next game we're going to talk about, is very tough because you don't know who's on the ice. And we have scenarios in play, which we'll talk about in the final game, where there's now 3 teams at the bottom of the standings on 56 points. And finishing last doesn't give you the number 1 pick, but it's going to give you, by slight percentage points, the best chance of winning the number 1 pick. And you've got to win it this year because it's a generational talent.
See the goal last night? See Connor's goal last night?
Unreal. Yeah.
I mean, this dude has a career of highlight material, and he hasn't even made the NHL yet. It's remarkable. Andrew, I'm hijacking the show for a sec. Dan, do we have a Prez's going off topic image? No, we don't. But we should. We should, Dan. Dave Redling asks, what's good on Netflix? So, Andrew, you and I were discussing this before the show. And I just want to tell everybody really quick. I just finished The Night Agent. It was a lot of fun. Look, it's no masterpiece. It is, the main character is not a great actor. And it does bother me throughout the entire show. The story is phenomenal. It's a typical Jean Le Carre, Robert Ludlum, David Morrell, whatever, Vince Flynn type of a story. It's really worth watching. With that said, on Apple TV is a show called Blackbird. Blackbird is 6 episodes long. It's probably one of the top 10 shows I've ever watched in my life. And the guy who plays Richard Jewell is the main actor. And I would argue that he lays down the single greatest acting performance on any medium anywhere in the world. I actually think they called his acting performance Prez-like. That wasn't me. That was Siskel or Ebert.
Prez, this is why you're this is why you're so good at like selling me on things and telling people about things. Like, I don't think you've ever recommended something to me where you weren't like top 5 of my life, top 10 of my life, or this restaurant has the best steak you'll ever have. You're very convincing. Now I have to watch that show. But with The Night Agent, I will say I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to watch the next one immediately.
Yeah.
It felt like I watched a 10-hour movie. But I'm not really sure how the season 2 is going to go. It seemed like a show that could be just
fine, Andrew. Season 2 will be fine because it was taken from a book. And these authors, it's not like movies where it's like Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, or Hunger Games 1, 2, 3, 3 sucks. This is these international espionage books. If you go back and you look at, the Scott Horvath character, or Jack Carr's James Reese character, or Vince Flynn's Mitch Rapp character, etc., Brad Thor, the books are all consistently good. You can never sit there and say book 1 was better than book 18. So I have a lot of faith. But guys, before you start watching Night Agent, Blackbird, the guy who acted, who did Richard Jewell, oh my God. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done. I'm
all right. Thanks for
down
tuning
now.
into Oprah's Book of the Month Club. Let's get on to Game 2, Winnipeg and Calgary Flames.
Yes.
Yeah, Prez, you said you had lots of stuff for this one. Winnipeg minus 130. They're at home. Calgary plus 110 on the road. We have Winnipeg with 89 points. We have Calgary with 87. Let me just confirm that what I said there is correct. Yes. Pretty much who you like in this game, in my opinion, is who you think will make the playoffs. Let me know if you disagree with that, but I'm curious about your thoughts on this matchup.
Well, I do disagree with that concept, but it is slightly irrelevant to the betting world. Winnipeg does have a game in hand, so even if they do lose tonight, they still have one extra game, and they would be tied after tonight. Andrew, I watched the Calgary third period last night, and I got to tell you, and I got a lot to say on this game. I was cheering like crazy for Calgary. I was like, go, go, go. Man, had Calgary have won last night, I would have put out a 5% play on Winnipeg tonight. Flat out, a 5% on Winnipeg. It would have been one of the biggest bets I made all year. Would have gone down tonight on Winnipeg had Calgary have won. But no, this moron team, with their season on the line, can't beat the Blackhawks, who are trying to lose. I sat there last night after the game ended, and I tried so hard to put myself in the position of these Calgary Flames players. I was like, what are they going to do on Wednesday night in this game? Were they looking ahead to this game? They've got to be coming into this game shoulders hunched, feeling bad about themselves. They went to bed last night pissed off and upset. They are depressed. Can Daryl Sutter get it out of them tonight? To me, it's like, what happens? Calgary off of a loss. I don't want to play on Winnipeg. Calgary couldn't beat Chicago last night in a must-win game. I don't want to play on Calgary. The question is, what is the emotional makeup of this Calgary team right now? And I cannot believe it's very good. I love the under in this game. 6 goals, must win game for both teams. Like you said at the top of the show, as we get into close to playoff time, these meaningful games are more likely to go under than over. I agree 100%. Yet Winnipeg is scoring lights out their last couple of games, and Calgary is going over all the time right now. The play is on Winnipeg. They have a beat up, emotionally beat up Calgary team coming in to their house on a back-to-back. They have a chance to put the season away, take control of their own destiny, which they have now, but I mean like really firmly grab it by the hand. I love Winnipeg tonight, but I couldn't get there because I don't want to play against Calgary off of a loss in this spot. But man, this Flames team should be ashamed of themselves. And frankly, if they lose tonight, Daryl Sutter shouldn't be the coach next game. That's how this guy is a disaster. I know he was great once, but the NHL and the cycling and the way they're playing now, it's all changed. Everything's changed. Daryl Sutter clearly can't keep up. Clearly, this team is loaded with talent. Loaded with talent. And they can't make the playoffs 2 out of 3 years? Anyway, they got to clean house, man. Treliving has to go. Sutter has to go. Freaking the owner should just hand the team over to me. I'm even wearing Flames colors. Anyway, I'm mad at the Flames for ruining my 5% on the Jets tonight. But take Winnipeg, guys. There.
All right,
it.
Prez
I'm
looking
done.
towards the Winnipeg
up.
Jets. Great segment there, though. Lots of good stuff, and I agree with a lot of that stuff that was said there. Before I throw it to you, Carm, just wanted to mention I found here Flames are 5-1 their last 6 games on the second half of a back-to-back. I'm not saying I like them. I'm just saying that's useful information for anybody out there curious about how they performed on back-to-backs. But I agree, Carm, with the whole coaching situation. I feel like the Flames might need a young coach, although Tyler Toffoli said that Sutter's the favorite coach he's ever had, his favorite coach. So you never really know. But, Carm, what do you think in this game? Do you have a play for this game? Total side? What are you looking at?
Yeah, every player likes a coach that isn't hard on them, doesn't call them out when they're not performing. Unlike someone like Mike Babcock did, or someone like John Tortorella. So I get it, but he should be gone if they miss the playoffs. He should have been gone when they halfway through the season, when they could have likely turned it around.
Yep.
It's funny because I was tweeting random thoughts out last night, and I put one about like the Flames are really looking good right now. Obviously, sarcasm in that game against Chicago, and I hope I don't butcher your name out there, but Chris Robichaud says the F in Flames is silent when pronouncing it. So the Calgary Lames, and that's what they are. I said on a show, I think 2 or 3 shows back, that the Flames are a hot mess, and some guy gets on me in the chat saying, this team is on a winning streak. No, you know what it is sometimes you're winning games while playing bad, and eventually that catches up to you. And it caught up to them last night in a game they needed to win against Chicago, and now they're stuck in a position where they have to go into Winnipeg and win. Can they do it? Of course they can do it. If nothing else in this season for the Calgary Flames, they're losing games that they're not supposed to lose, and then they win games when you expect them to lose, and that's a spot that could very well happen tonight. Winnipeg is in control here. If you look at it, the scheduling for them before they finish the season off with 2 very tough games on the road, they can have a playoff spot sewn up. They play the Flames tonight. They can bury the Flames tonight in all likelihood with a win tonight. Then they have 2 days off before they host Nashville and put a nail in their coffin before they play they host the San Jose Sharks in their final home game before heading on the road. 3 wins, and I know it's a tough thing. 3 wins, and they've locked up a playoff spot. But it goes a big way if they win the next 2 games, and it starts tonight. I want to take Winnipeg, but it wouldn't surprise me that Calgary loses last night at home to Chicago, and then goes into Winnipeg and beats them. I'm going with Hellebuck and the Jets, and then I'm just going to leave it on Calgary to surprise me or not surprise me and to win the game tonight. But the only way for me to lean is the Jets here.
Here's one thing I'll say about the Flame situation and Daryl Sutter being an old-fashioned type of coach. He tries to teach lessons at the wrong time, I think. Like, the Flames are losing to a Blackhawks team last night, and he benches Nazem Kadri. I get it. He wasn't having a good game, but you got to play him. You can't not have a guy like that out there in the final few minutes of a game just to make a point. Those are lessons that get, taught months ago, right? You can't be trying to teach lessons to the guy that's taking, how much they paid him in the offseason, and your coach is benching him. I don't know. That's, to me, I think that's kind of wrong there for them.
Well,
not like he doesn't deserve it,
benched.
But late in the game, you got to have your stars out there, in my opinion. So I think that's going to hurt them long term. I get it. You got to discipline your players that aren't playing to their potential, but late in the game, you need your talent out there. Look, guys, I've got a bone to pick with Winnipeg, all right? When I was away, I was cashing tickets. I was having success with hockey betting, and then I took Winnipeg puck line over Arizona. They win that one 2-1. All right. I have a good track record with these 5% NHL plays, but I went back to Winnipeg again, took them in regulation against San Jose. San Jose wins that one 3-0. So there you go. In 1 week, 0-2 and 5% plays involving the Winnipeg Jets. Since that game, they have put up 12 goals in 2 games, 6 against Detroit, 6 against New Jersey. So which team are we going to get tonight, right? Which team is it? And for me, I know the team. I think it's going to be the defensive team. When they're playing their best, they have Hellebuck being their backbone, their defensemen doing what they do, and these guys cycle around. They use up the clock, and really they don't produce a lot of offense. They just, they don't really allow much defensively. So give me the under. I feel like this one has a big playoff feel to it. I'll take the under 6, and I'll stay away from the sides. As you guys can tell, I'm a lot more of a totals guy right now in the NHL, and that's probably how it'll remain until the playoffs get going. Carm, Edmonton and Anaheim. This is definitely one that does not really have much going, at least for one team in this game here. Edmonton, big favorites, as we would expect. Anaheim on the underdog roll, plus 280. Total at 7 here, with, of course, most of the goals being expected to come from Edmonton. So how do you approach this one, Carm?
Yeah, they are expected to come from them. This is a play that we'll talk about at the end of the show and during the best bet segment, but one that I will obviously discuss now. You look at, and I talked about the bottom of the standings. We talk about teams not wanting to tank or not being able to tank, but right now you've got the Anaheim Ducks, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Columbus Blue Jackets all on 56 points right now. It's in their best interest to just lose out. It's in their best interest for the coaches of these teams to start the backups, manage minutes, do what you have to do. And I understand it's tough for players to go on the ice and tank. They don't want to do it. But for the better of the organization to try and get that number 1 pick, it is so big. Anaheim's doing their best to get there because they just keep losing game on game on game. If these teams finish tied at the bottom of the standings, it'll be regulation wins that serves as a tiebreaker just as much as it is for that 8th wildcard spot. And they've only got 13 regulation wins where Columbus and Chicago have 17. You look at as far as team totals, and that's where I'm leaning here because I just don't know what Anaheim is going to get as far as goals go. Edmonton, they're on a 10-0-1 run. 6 of those 10 wins, they've scored 5 or more goals, including a 6-0 win against Anaheim 4 days ago. Anaheim has lost I think they've lost 8 straight games and have allowed 5 or more goals in 4 of the last 5 games. They're not playing defense. They're not playing physical because nobody wants to get injured. Their season is done. These guys are getting ready to golf. Edmonton goes in there off a tight defensive game last night and probably blows their doors out tonight. So I don't want to lay that price, but over 4.5 team total is only minus 120. And these are numbers. And I put it when I sent it out as a client play this morning, 2% play. I said, play this early because Andrew, these team totals start at minus 120, then go to minus 150. And then all of a sudden it's at minus 180. It's unplayable. So take it as early as you can get it. But I think the Oilers get at least 5 tonight. So that team total is the way I'm going to go here. Prez?
I like Anaheim team total over, Carm. So I think we should just take the game over 7. Let me warn you guys. Look, this is a terrible spot for Edmonton. I mean, should they win this game? Yeah, they're the hottest team in all of hockey right now. I mean, this team is winning. Last night was a massive victory by Edmonton on the road, 3-1 against LA. Now they're in a back-to-back situation. I'm telling you now, this line should not be plus 225 for Anaheim. It should be plus 350 for Anaheim. And if it was, I would be taking Anaheim. I think that there's no value on Anaheim. It's too low. There's no way I'm taking Edmonton in this spot because I think it's a really, really brutal spot. That game last night in LA took a lot out of them. And Anaheim's going to win a game. I don't buy this these teams are tanking stuff. I mean, Chicago didn't tank last night against Calgary. These players are playing. They're playing their hearts out. Sure, the general manager is trying to tank it, but the coach isn't and the players aren't. So I don't really buy into that. The problem is Anaheim's just so damn brutal. I mean, 22 shots on goal against Calgary, 19 shots on goal against Seattle, 18 shots on goal against Vancouver, 22 20s. I mean, there are teams that put up 20 shots in a period, and these guys can't do it in a whole game. With that said, I think we do see Edmonton's intensity drop tonight, and I think that's why we'll see Anaheim put some pucks in the net. I like over the total, team total for Anaheim. And guys, don't be taking Edmonton minus 3.5 or 2.5 goals tonight. This is a really bad spot for this team.
Yeah, Prez, I mean, you talk about how you're surprised by the number you're seeing from the Ducks today. Did you know that Calgary against Anaheim a few days ago was the biggest favorite in the NHL this year? Yep. I mean,
it was
what?
520 or something.
A team that's barely in the playoffs was the biggest favorite of the year so far. I didn't take it with clients, but I tweeted out Anaheim plus 2.5.
I saw your
I got
tweet.
Anaheim. Yeah, and it was plus money at plus 2.5. I couldn't believe it. So I like that Anaheim team total as well in this one. I'm going to kind of channel my inner Andy Lang here in this one. I don't usually do these because I know that the math doesn't really line up with these, and I know that I'll hear about that from some bettors. But Carm, I look at this, and I'm just going to do two here. The over 5.5 goals and Anaheim Ducks plus 2.5 turns into a plus 140. So I'm channeling my inner Andy Lang here and doing a little bit of the alternative stuff and kind of, getting us over 5.5, and Anaheim keeps it within 2 goals, and we come out on top. And that's kind of where I'm looking here. But as far as the team total, that's kind of my play that I'll officially give out there on the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, we're getting minus 115 on this one. And, I think that you look at the price, and it's plus 280 for the Ducks, right? Some people might ask Prez and I and say, well, why aren't you guys taking that money line? What a great price that is. And I'll say the same thing I always say to people when I bet these team totals on underdogs. We can still win our bet even if they don't win the game. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here is Anaheim getting 3 goals. Once they do that, I'm not really concerned afterwards. It doesn't really matter to me after that. So I'll look towards the team total over 2.5 goals, but that same game parlay is something I might lock in.
And Andrew, listen, to Prez's point, and good luck with that same game parlay. To Prez's point, I could see the thought process on it's a bad spot for Edmonton off that game if they were playing anybody but Anaheim. Anaheim has been non-existent in their last 13 or 14 games. Their only win was against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are on 56 points and dead last as well, too. This team isn't there. And Edmonton is still playing for something. So realistically, you look at it, and they are 3 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights with both teams having 4 games left. The Knights' next game is their big game because they play against the LA Kings, who still harbor thoughts of finishing first in the Pacific, or at least second in the Pacific, and having that home ice against whoever they play in the next round. The Oilers play here and win. So if we throw hypotheticals out with 3 games left, you could be looking at the Knights on 104, Edmonton on 103, and the Kings on 102 if they go in and beat the Vegas Golden Knights. 3 games, 2 points separating 3 teams for that Pacific number 1 seed. And the number 1 seed overall, they're not taking a night off against the Anaheim Ducks tonight. I would be surprised if they did. I think even if they put in a 70% effort tonight, they get it done with ease. So those are my thoughts on that one.
So can I just jump in real quick? I know we're running out of time. Carm, I agree with every word you said, which is why I'm not playing Anaheim. However, Calgary didn't take a night off last night either, and they played at home. and they lost to a team.
Well,
that
we're
is just
comparing.
as
That's
their team
apples and
is-
oranges.
No,
You're comparing
Chicago
apples and
is
oranges.
just as shitty as Anaheim.
No,
The point
no. I am
I know
talking
what
about
you're
Edmonton's
saying.
better than
Edmonton and
Calgary, though.
I know.
I'm talking
I
Edmonton's
agree
better than
with you.
Calgary.
I agree with you. But the concept of a team isn't going to take a night off, I don't agree with. It just happens. Calgary came into last night's game not taking a night off, and they lost. These I don't show up and because of XYZ, or I can't bring the intensity up because of XYZ. Nobody plans it. It just happens. And that's what worries me. But I agree with everything you said, dude. I mean, Edmonton, that's why I'm not betting Anaheim. Otherwise,
And
I'd
worth
put my money
noting,
where my mouth is.
they played a few days ago, and the score was 6-0 Edmonton. That's worth noting
Well,
as
that
well.
is also
So
irrelevant to me.
Well, it's relevant to me.
That's
Let's go. Let's go to you, Prez, for what you have going. I know you're number one in NBA, doing very well with totals as well across both basketball and hockey. What do you have going tonight for clients, and what's your best bet for us?
Well, thanks for asking. Yeah, listen, it's been incredible, man. NBA has been absolutely outstanding. I'm close to 70% return, 70 units of profit. I mean, my NBA totals are unbelievable. I went 2-0 last night in the NBA. My NHL, though, Andrew, has been incredible the last month. Incredible. I mean, I'm winning almost every single play in NHL right now. Yesterday on the daily presidential address, I gave out 3 hockey plays. I went 3-0. My play yesterday was the New Jersey Devils, Ottawa Senators under 6 at 1. So I'm seeing it so well in hockey right now and so well in the NBA. I'm going to pass in hockey tonight for my clients. And I will have NBA plays up. I'm working on them right after the show. Actually, between this and Wager Talk today. And guys, make sure to watch Wager Talk today. We got a great show. We got Adam Trigger on, and Nick Borman's coming on to talk about the Masters. As for my show best bet, Winnipeg Jets. That's the best play on the board from my perspective on the money line. Russell Deck just called me the humble Prez. Russell, don't insult me, man. Come on, seriously. That is
real
disgusting.
quick, Prez. Who's your Masters pick? Give me a pick. Who do you got?
Ask me tomorrow. I'm sorry, Andrew, man. I just got back from a trip.
That's all
I'm
good.
not going to be betting the Masters. What I normally do for the Masters in these tournaments is these books, they give you like, Jordan Spieth is going to be in the top 5, Scheffler in the top 3, Rory in the top 10. This guy won't make the cut. Add it all together, and it's plus 800. I usually put like $10 on a bunch of those just for the fun of it. But I'm not a golf bettor, man.
I just do it for fun, and I tail a lot of the guys at Wager Talk. They've been great. Yeah. Dave Koken sends me his plays. He's been great. I know Nick's been awesome as well, so I look forward to the Masters. Always fun watching. Carm, what do you have going on tonight and the rest of the week, man?
Yeah, tonight I'm just going to have a slew of like some shot props, some NHL props. One of them that I gave you on the show that's already loaded, and a couple afternoon soccer plays. These I'm just going to put a mixed bag of plays together. I don't normally do that. I separate the sports because they're all 2% plays. I'll put them up there, and I'll put them at a low price as well too that you can get. My play is going to be the team total on the Edmonton Oilers over a 4.5. Goals minus 120. I think they get there. I mentioned the stats. I put this play out early, and I hope the juice doesn't get away from you guys if you want to follow along on that one. So let's try and get there with this Edmonton team total and make it 3 for 3 as far this week as far as show best bets go. With that said, Andrew's coming to town, Prez. I'm not sure if you know that. He'll be here Friday night. He'll be here till Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
he owes me money.
I'm going to bring him up to your place so he can see the only house in Toronto that has an escalator from the bottom floor to the upstairs.
Yeah, he can come by and check out the escalator and bring my money.
Yeah, I know. I have to e-transfer you. All right,
Guys,
let's
I got
get
to go. I
into-
got a show starting. Love you all.
All right, guys, my best bet, before I get into it, I do have an 8-2 run going to start this MLB season. I have a couple of early plays on the early slate in the NHL, so grab those plays. MLB, and one play up in the NHL. But guess what, guys? That one play is going to be my best bet, so you don't need to grab that. It's going to be the under in the Flames and Winnipeg Jets game, guys. I think we're going to see a big defensive battle. I think we're going to see a playoff mindset when it comes to these two teams. And we do have a game that features two talented goaltenders that will be suiting up tonight. Give me the under in Winnipeg and Calgary as my best bet. We ran long today. That's on me. That'll do it for today's show, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
The NBA playoffs start the second week of April, with the NHL playoffs scheduled to begin immediately after. Whether you're looking to raise the Stanley Cup or lift the Larry O'Brien Trophy, we've got the deal for you. Postseason subscriptions are already a great deal at $219, but with this early bird special, we're slashing it even more to just $177 each, and you get the rest of the regular season for free. Between now and Sunday, April 9th, partner with your favorite NBA or NHL handicapper and get their NHL or NBA best bets all the way through the finals. No coupon is needed. Head to the homepage of your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo expert and finish the NBA and NHL postseason with a bang.